achieve the look. So some of the challenges with this is we want to make sure that we blend her layers without chopping her side length off and without making it super stringy. So I kind of just go in here and breaking this up a little so it's not as bulky. Side. Like I said, we've got more hair on this side to work with because of our part, so it's not as tricky. Well, but I did want to show you. Could you imagine if, like over here where I was saying, you want to make sure when you're making your layers, like what if I was holding this with this section down here from the back of her head? See how then I would then cut her sides off because I would think that this is my guy. But really, that's her length in the back of the head. That's how easy it is to cut a hole in the ears there. So that's why when you're doing your layering, it's so important that you have your sectioning right. Whether it's a 90 or a 180. Got her back length flipped out of the way. Where do I want to stand so I'm not standing in the same spot where I was before? If I go here, does this work? You guys can see too? So now we've got a lot more room to see what we're going to connect to. So I'm going to break this. Started. Slide cutting. Don't forget to put your name on your notes too. See where I left off. And I just kind of keep extending across the head to get out to the length. I'm going to split my section in half. So you see how now my guide's traveling when I do that, when I split my section in half? Just makes it so you can get a little bit more control. This is where we'll pick it up. Any questions so far? If you feel yourself getting sleepy, you're allowed to stand up and stretch to try to wake yourself up a little bit. Something else to ask your client if you're doing something like this is you want to talk to them like, do they want their ends to feel bulky, or do they care if they're thinned out a little bit? Because that's gonna alter how you cut their hair as well. What would I do if she didn't want her ends as, if she wanted them a little bit bulkier? If she didn't want them very thin. Any ideas?
More of like a blunt.
A blunt cut, yep. What else?
Don't point.
Don't point cut. Two, we can also, you know how I went in back here and I pulled it up? That left a little bit, where if somebody wanted more stringier ends, you could point cut. You could take the layers down further. So there's some different things you can do to kind of adjust your angle in there. A little bit more. So you can see how, see here we need to blend those layers in a little bit more. And it's really prominent because that's where her lightning is too. You guys see that? Miss Ava? You see that? Okay. So I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna keep working at it because I don't wanna cut my length off, but I don't want any lines in my haircut. So also, if you go in and you kind of break up that area because it's bulkier in there. So I'm gonna go in. Notice how you can point cut just at the very end, or you can go in deeper with your shears and that takes out bulk too. But I would much rather gradually keep working at it than take off a big chunk and then before you know it, you've made a divot in their hair, you know? You don't want to cut holes in anybody's hair or shelves or anything like that. So you can see how the back is a lot easier than the sides because there's a lot more hair in the back to work with. Something else to think of too, you know how we were watching on Studio Luma and they were combing it up horizontally? Was that you guys? We were watching Studio Luma,
Yeah.
and on the sides they were combing it up like this and they were cutting. See the guide? See what would happen to her sides if we did that? We'd be cutting all of her length off. Everybody see that? So that's why it's so important on the, that works because that was a shoulder length haircut. But on this longer haircut, it's so important that you're taking those vertical sections. Ooh, let me throw my comb at you. Okay, now we gotta do some angling. Now where do you like your shortest piece around your waist? Alright, so on your mannequins, you guys remember on Amanda, we took a little triangle to the side of her part. Now this isn't a triangle. Working with the hairline, I ended up just doing like a little curve section, so that way I'll have equal, what I want is an equal amount of hair where her part is on both sides to be my guide. So she said she wants them to fall about her lip, okay? So we're looking at, she's making us, this is good, it's good work for us to see the blending from a really short to a really long. So to the lip, right here, it's gonna be about almost 4 inches off. Now, do you want, would you rather it be like a little longer, or what do you think where I'm at? So you notice how I'm like leaving some slack in there? I'm not holding it real tight because it's gonna bounce up and you wanna, so I've got a little slack in there, so we're gonna go like right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna point cut because we want a softer look around the face. And I think I'll go this way. So add a 0, okay? And I'm just gonna get my guide for our angles. Any questions so far? So I got my guide, now I'm gonna go in and just break up that line a little bit. Oh, I was gonna say, Mrs. Dirks, I need a Band-Aid. They are, I did cut myself. Point cutting right there in that field, sorry. So when you point cut, Mrs. Berger, how often do you cut yourself? Keep it real.
I mean, a few times a year.
Oh, a few times a year, that's it?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow, she's good.
No, it's not. It's all right, though. It happens.
Hey. You? You gonna go with once a month with me? Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I didn't even cut past my second knuckle, okay? I was point cutting, so you just have to be careful to slow down, make sure you don't cut yourself. And the second you realize you do, get a Band-Aid so you don't have a blood spill, right? Incident. Okay, so I've got my guide. I broke it up with some notching so it's soft. So notice once again, I don't want to cut my side length off. So where am I pulling from? Am I coming from all the way back here for my length guide? Nope. And I'll even clip it out of the way. Now we were talking about those people that get like that V haircut and they get their side length cut off. Then this is where you get your guide from. But we don't cut her sides off. So I'm just going to come around in here and slide cut. First, I take the top half of my section. And actually, I'm gonna point cut still, so you can see where my guide starts, right? And I'm just kind of gonna travel down. Does everybody see that over here? Where my guide's starting here, and I'm gonna travel down. So I don't know which way to aim, but you guys can get up and move if you want to see. So I'm just connecting, and I'm just kind of trimming those ends. Now I'm bringing in my bottom half. And you notice now I'm combing it down, but across her face. This is where my slide cut comes in. You can see where I left off here. And now I'm going to slide cut all the way down to her length. So I leave it. Over here, we're going to do this side. So I use lots of different combinations of techniques, and you will too. It's not just, it's not, a haircut usually isn't just a 90-degree haircut. It's a combination of different angles and projections, and there's blunt cutting in some areas, there's point cutting in some areas, slide cutting. So the cool thing is by the end of this program, you should be able to take all those techniques and work them together into one haircut. And you might have one haircut where it's all blunt, where it's all 0, but not all the time. So now I get my guide at the top that we made. And I get my top little section up here. See my guide up here, so now I'm gonna start point cutting. Get that started. Any questions so far? And now I'm combing down, pulling across your face, and now I'm coming in and I'm slide cutting. Now I'm right-handed, so you notice how I'm holding my shears the opposite direction to make it work. Because I'm on the other side of her head. So now I comb this down. We're just gonna see that little tiny connect that needs to happen down here. Now she's got a lot of hair. I don't know if you can tell, even though it's flat iron. It's thick.
It's tame today.
It is very tame today. She's got the natural curl and wave in there. So then I just comb it all around, move her head where I want to make sure everything is lining up nicely. And obviously one side's gonna be thicker because why? Her part, she's got more hair on one side. So I'm just looking at how my angles are falling to make sure they're falling at the same on both spots. And I still see right here, I got a little bit of a line going on in this layer, and I'm a perfectionist, so I'm not letting that go. I think that's why she likes me to cut her hair though. It's really nice with the razor too, because then you can go in, and of course I don't have my razor out here, but you can do it with slide cutting, but with the razor you can go in and just kind of carve out where that is. Try to help break that up too.
Could you texturize my,
Oh yeah, that's another good thing to show them, thank you. See how that helps to just kind of blend that in. Okay, so she asked for her crown texturized, and what do you think that does? I don't think we've talked about this yet, so if anybody wants to take a guess, it's gonna give a little bit of volume up here. Her hair's heavy because it's thick, so it starts to get weighed down. So what I like to do is I come up in the top, I come underneath where that hair bends, I go in and I make some little pieces. And those shorter pieces help to poof up the other hair. So there are some guidelines. You have to be careful not to do this right on the part, because what do you think would happen? Right on the part, if I did this. Sticky up pieces, okay? She doesn't want sticky up pieces. Now, why do I say find the bend? What would happen if you went too close to the scalp? Same answer, sticky up pieces, okay? But what would happen if I went in here and did it instead? Would we get any result for volume? No, that would do what? You could create choppiness, or it could also debulk, so you'd actually be thinning. So we want to find our bend. This is great too when you go to do your style, you can put some root lifter in there. And then when you're doing your little volume round brush thing, that helps to give you some lift. I don't know if you can tell with it dry. Can you tell anything? A little poop happening? And do we go under your part too and do it?
yeah, I think yeah.
And you want me to today?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm also gonna go under her part and do it too, because then that'll help give her a little fluff. So you don't wanna come within an inch or so of the hairline. That's at a minimum. You wanna stay away from that hairline and that part line when you do this. So, not even going into that. Look for my bend, do my little pieces. So I'm kind of going in and I'm just like gradually going like this on some pieces, real slow.
Miss Jarvis, we have 2 minutes left.
2 minutes. And did anybody get anything out today? Oh, you did? Oh, go ahead. If you need to put something away, go ahead. But if you just have your notes, then you are fine till the bell rings. Thank you, Eva. All right, texturized. All right. Have you? And check her from the front to make sure her length is even from the front. And then I let her take a peek because you know
Quit
she has
moving.
hair and she can tell me if she wants anything else to happen. Now you can go ahead and leave your notes.
Or I can collect them since I'm
Oh,
with them.
cool.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and collect your notes, you guys.
Sorry. I went to go and
Thank
stretch.
you. Thank you.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Notes, notes, notes. Thank you.
You're okay.
Sorry to be in front of the, thank you.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Congratulations.
What's your lap job?
Oh,
We didn't
Melody.
use anything, so you should be good.
Yeah, you just spray them out and make sure there's no hair.
Check it out there.
Right.
I see you squinting. Oh, you're good. You don't have to record anymore, but